We basically today got like a mini brand new season update. The mythics are completely gone. The medallions are completely gone. There's so many map changes. Peterbot has changed his POI. And on top of all of that, we even got our first look at how this brand new Storm Surge works. We have so much to talk about in today's video. Real quick before this video starts though, please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. And we're currently on the road to 120,000 subscribers. If you want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. DM me a picture of you guys using my code on Twitter, and I've been responding to so many people. Make sure you guys follow me on my Twitch or come back here on the day of finals if you want to watch any of these set lobby finals with me. Without further ado though, let's talk about everything in the brand new update, and then we can talk about Peterbot's brand new drop spot. So this morning we did have a huge update, and let's start off with all of the map changes. So all of the bug POIs have officially changed. The Hive is now Bugswater Beach, there is Dreamy Domain, Swarmy is now Harmony Hills, Rangers Rest, and then Utopia City is back as well. And then we also just the meta is completely different now. There is no more OXR ranks, no more mythics, exotics, or medallions, no more bugs. So that means that the double pump is gone. The mythic fizz is gone. Pretty much every single item that made these pros turn into almost superheroes are gone now. And then we did finally get some rotation as well. There is Remy's sword, but the big one is the Tiger teleporting mask, which is the Void Oni mask. And yes, if you guys are curious, is in competitive now. It works the exact same way as the Oni mask did work from a couple of seasons ago. Crash pads are still not back in the game, but if you watched my video yesterday, I did predict that they would add the Oni mask to competitive, because it seems like there is some major bug with the crash pads that they just can't fix. It's almost been a month since we've had crash pads, so now we have the Oni mask in the game. All of the coins are gone, all of the super broken items are gone. This is one of the most balanced metas that we have had in a long time. I do get why a lot of people are complaining about this, because they are taking out a lot of the fun, like super broken items. But at the same time, I'm still excited to watch a meta where people should have some pretty similar loot. There is also like this new spicy ramen thing that gives you a chili pepper effect and a bubble shield as well. The ramen is a lot more used than the bubble shield though. I don't think I've seen anybody even carrying this thing. But yeah, that was pretty much just a quick sum up of everything that we got. This is almost like a brand new season at this point. And of course that led to some POI changes. And Pollo ended up tweeting out Rangers for the rest of the season with Peterbot and Raz. And if you guys are curious, yes, this spot was contested before by Acorn and Boltz, but then not even an hour later, Acorn tweeted out Supernova for rest of the season with Boltz. So unfortunately, we're not going to get part 2 of the Peterbot versus Acorn off spawn, because Acorn literally left the POI as soon as he possibly can. And this really does just go back to why Peterbot decided to play with Pollo over somebody like Cold. Because Acorn, who was literally just on Pollo's team for this entire chapter, knows how good of an off-spawn player Pollo is, and then Peter is still arguably the best off-spawn player in the entire world. I've also heard things that like, oh, Acorn isn't actually on 0 ping yet either, so he doesn't want to have to contest 2 double 0 ping potential macro users as well. Of course, people are going to clown on Acorn for this, saying, especially from a couple of seasons ago, that the only reason why he didn't con Peter in Grim Gate season was because Cold didn't want to, but he still did. It's a little surprising to me, especially in a season with no FNCS, that Acorn isn't even like trying to stand his ground for like a singular tournament. But it shows that they want to win tournaments this season, and for their position, they are one of the main threats to take down Peterbot and Pollo in general, and we'll talk about them a lot more when we go over the finals. It was kind of funny because if you guys remember, Peterbot actually qualified to the EU finals with Acorn, and then literally the next day he was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gonna be conning you in NA finals this week. But Acorn did leave, so I mean, I wonder how the vibes are gonna be between Peter and Acorn playing the EU finals together. Let's actually move on to how the tournament went today though. We're gonna quickly go over the opens, everybody that was able to qualify, who failed to qualify, and then of course go way more in depth for the finals. So in first place of the eval opens, we do have Clix and Higgs on 334. They won 1 out of their 6 matches and got 69 total elims, as well as an average placement of 7.5. Really hoping for a big week in the Cash Cup finals for them this weekend, and we'll talk about them more in the finals, of course. Second place was Ulk, third place was Raised, fourth place was CR, fifth place was Cooper and Sphinx, sixth place was Ark and Kanata. No Ark, unfortunately, still not on 0 ping. Seventh place was Rapid and Threats, eighth place was Zeus, ninth place was Aloe, and then rounding rounding out the top 10 was Agers and Yamzo on 265. So a lot of our big names did finish inside of that top 10, but we still had like 24th place of Epicwell and Pump, Oliver OG and Carillion right under them in 25th, Muzz and Reet in 35th, Ritual and Cold in 37th. They should have been higher up on the leaderboard, but one of their games just isn't counting for some reason. But yes, this is yet another time of us getting to see Ritual and Cold versus Epicwell and Pump off spawn, because Epicwell has still not left the drop spot. Visuals and Braves right under them in 38th, Acorn and Boltz in 42nd, and then Peterbot and Pollo just barely being able to qualify in 47th place. So this is a super stacked EVAL Cup finals, probably the most stacked EVAL finals we have had of the entire season. The only big names that were not able to qual was like 54th place of Blake and Zen, Josh and Chance in 63rd, and then Aviv and Booga unfortunately were not able to qual in 89th place, only finished with 200 total points, won 1 out of their 7 matches, 37 total elims. At least they were able to qualify for the Div Cup finals, so they still have something to look forward to. But that was about it for all the big names that missed out. Let's actually move on to how the finals went now. Now in the finals, being able to keep up their win streak, it is the duo of Peterbot and Pollo in first place. They were only able to win 1 game today though, so this was the least amount of game wins that they had in any EVAL Cup. But if you are looking at their matches on the screen right here, you will see that they did only play 3 total games today, in games that they got a 13 elim win, 4 elim 4th, and a 4 elim 5th. Pollo actually ended up crashing right before game 2, I'm pretty sure it was, so they were only able to play out 3 matches today. But this duo has now won 5 EVAL Cup games in the past 3 weeks, definitely cementing themselves as being the best EVAL team, and just still obviously the best team in general in the entire world. It was pretty interesting seeing Peter and Pollo adapt to these new surge changes. We saw them still, and like pretty much for every other team as well, sitting in surge bases, but it's a lot more of strategic trading instead of just full trading and like trading knocks and things like that, because of course your main objective now is to deal more damage than you take. Lurk plays, as we expected, are super prevalent, but the new surge changes didn't really affect how our super good duos did today, because second place we did have Ark and Kanata also being able to win a game today, winning the final game of the day, getting an 8 elimination win.
Fighting, we need to go up. Look, it's a 2v2, we need to fight. Go up, go up, go up! I'm jumping in. Nice. Up here. Ball. Let's go, Ark! Let's go finally! Come on, Ark! Let's go, bro! Good shit! Let's finally go, baby!
This duo also did finish with the most elims in the entire tournament, and this is still all without Ark being on 0 ping yet. Their matches before that were a 6 elim 5th, 6 elim 11th, and a 6 elim 7th, so they're able to finish with 26 total elims. And I know I keep saying this every single time we talk about Ark and Kanata, but once Ark is going to be on 0 ping, this duo is just going to get even better. And once they're on double 0 ping, this duo 1000% has to be in potential top 5 duos on NA discussions, maybe even top 3. Speaking of top 3 duos on the region though, third place is Rapid in Threats. They won game 3 today, getting a 9 elim win, and their only other good game before that was a 5 elim 3rd. These guys do continue to just look so good now, top 5ing every single Cash Cup finals, winning games in the EVAL Cup as well. I expect this surge change as well to be pretty good for a player like Threats, who is always just super high up on the damage ratio leaderboards. And then the duo in 4th place that was able to win game number 2 was Curve in Craze with a 6 elim win. Also what I am probably going to expect to be one of the more underrated duos throughout this season. Glad to see that they were able to get a win, but we did have a lot of big name duos not be able to win games still, like 5th place of Acorn and Boltz. These guys got so close though on multiple occasions, and this is also their first tournament out of a new drop spot as well, so it's super impressive. They got a 2 elim 15th, 3 elim 7th, 8 elim 2nd, and an 11 elim 2nd. So back-to-back second places where they had a real chance to win multiple games in this finals and overtake Peterbot and Pollo on the leaderboard as well if they were able to do that, but unfortunately they were so close but just couldn't get the job done. I still don't really have any doubts about this duo, especially if Acorn is really on 60 ping right now. I'm still looking like the second best duo on all of NA. It's just so promising for their future. 6th place is Taki and Vert. 7th place is Misha and Teeny, so an EU duo finished in 7th. 8th place we have Clix and Higgs. Their best matches were a 3 elim 7th and a 7 elim 4th. This was a little bit of a rough tournament for them outside of the very final game of the day, and unfortunately it did happen to them again. These guys got 1v2'd, and this time it was by none other than Cold.
No, I see the foreshadowing. I see the foreshadowing. No. No, Clix. This isn't who you think it is. Higgs is full pieced. Higgs is dead. They got 1v2'd by Cold. Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah, it has been rough for Clix and Higgs in these 2v1 situations. Unfortunately, both of the times that they got 1v2'd, it was by the two best players in the entire world. I'm really interested to see what that actually does to their confidence fighting these really good players though, because if they can't win 1v2s against these guys, I don't know how they're going to be confident going up against them in a 2v2. Ninth place was Muzz and Reed. They had one good game today, getting a 9 elim second. They're continuing to just like flash potential here and there throughout this season, and I'm super excited to see how they look in the finals. And then rounding out the top 10 was CR. Our other big names was like 11th place of Adriz and Iamzo. They only had one game inside of the top 10 with a 4 elim 10th. It's their first tournament without the mythic, without the coin. We did get to see some back and forth between Adriz and Cold and Ritual, when Adriz said, "Ritual is selling you at Cold," and then Cold responded with, "I heard you died to Surge more than half of your games." Adriz even responded, "The purple lightning snatched me in the moving zones, couldn't run from it." So of course, just some friendly banter between them, but this team was kind of struggling with Surge today, and they were pretty much the only main good duo that we had that was struggling as much as they were. So definitely going to be something to watch out for this weekend. 13th place was Cooper and Sphinx. 14th place was Visuals and Braids. 15th place was Ritual and Cold. We've been talking a lot about them. They only had one game inside of the top 10, which was their last game of the day, getting a 9 elim 8. If you're wondering how they did off spawn versus Epic Will and Pump, they won 2-1 off spawn versus Epic Will today, because Cold and Ritual did end up leaving the POI after Epic Will ended up taking out Ritual. So you could technically say it's 2-2, but in the times where these two duos fought each other and took each other out, it was 2-1 in favor of Cold and Ritual. Obviously, this somehow always comes back to Ritual slander at the end of the day. Everybody is saying that like, oh, Cold needs to drop Ritual and Ritual isn't good enough to play with him. I think we need to slow the brakes a little bit. We know that Ritual and Cold are like best friends outside of the game, and at the same time, we haven't got to see them play a single set lobby finals completely uncontested, and we're still not going to be able to this weekend either. But I still don't really think there's any point for these guys to split up right now. And then Epic Will and Pump finished in 27th place, didn't have any games, finishing inside of the top 10 that they were able to make it off spawn. So overall, what are my thoughts on the new Surge after seeing it in a tournament for the first time so far this season? I don't really love it as of right now. It definitely does promote a lot more of a passive playstyle, and it kind of also just bugs out half of the time. I do definitely think that there is potential in it for it to be good, and it's not like the worst possible thing that they could have done. I have seen a lot of pros complain about it though and say that they don't like it. It definitely does help to counter Surge trading, which I think was of course their main goal when adding this change right here, but at the same time it also just added a lot more problems as well. Of course, like always for me, my kin stats just don't want to update, so let's go over individually the players that were able to win games today. So first place of Peter and Pollo. Peter finished with 13 total elims in comparison to 8, so Pollo really was keeping up today, and they both had insane damage ratios as well. Peter with a 2.4 compared to Pollo with a 2.06. Arc finished with 14 total elims in comparison to Kanata on 12, so Arc doing all of this on like 40 or 50 ping is just so impressive, as well as getting a 1.85 damage ratio, and Kanata with a 2.25 as well. They're both just playing super well so far this season. Here is Rapid and Threats, also pretty even numbers across the board for both these guys. 10 elims for Threats, 6 elims for Rapid, 1.69 damage ratio for Threats. And then finally here are Curve and Crazy stats, also very similar numbers across the board. And then just because I was curious, I wanted to see Acorn and Boltz because they were also super close to winning multiple games today, and it is pretty much the same story for elim numbers as it is for all the other teams, but Boltz finished with 4k damage and a 1.87 damage ratio. And it was super entertaining. A bunch of cool things happened. Let's actually move on to how EU went now. Now in EU, there was so many arguments today because this was the first time that we actually got to see the Storm Surge change take place, and so many people were saying like, oh, is it bugged? Is it working the way it's intended to? And apparently for about like the first hour of the tournaments today, it was completely bugged and was still on like the old Surge, but then they were able to fix it and it worked after that. Quickly going over every single person that was able to qualify though, we have like first place of Skyjump and Warx on 304, second place of Vidil and Rezon on 300, 100. Super happy to see that they were able to qualify for the EVAL Cup finals after failing to qualify for the Div Cup finals. Third place was Sammy, fourth place was Curb, fifth place was Rudolph, sixth place was Kinrop, seventh place was Pink and Velo, a brand new duo potentially, eighth place was Rezix, ninth place was Specs, and then rounding out the top 10 was Kira. We did have a good amount of big names though be able to make the finals, like 11th place of Chap and Flixie, Chino and Vino in 12th, Malibuka and Panzer in 17th, Sky and Marius in 14th, Darm and Blaha in 19th, Dexy and Phantom in 20th, Swizzy and Vanya in 23rd, Seti and Demus in 27th, Trulex and Chicho in 29th, Hari and Cammy in 31st, Focus and Hriss in 33rd, and then Shark and Teeny in 45th. So once again, for all you Mr. Savage fans out there, both Shark's duo and Focus's duo were able to make it to the finals, but this was also the first look that we got to see these guys go head to head against each other in the finals, and of course we'll talk about how that went in a little bit. But for the big names that were not able to make it, unfortunately we did have Vico and iDrop in 54th place. Vico and iDrop have still yet to be able to qualify for a single set lobby finals together this season. We did see Vico go on a mini rant on Twitter when he said, "Stop telling me who to play with or this and that. I chose iDrop and I'm sticking with him. Y'all care too much that I didn't qual for 2 cups. I legit just came back from vacation and iDrop just recovered from sickness and infections." So pretty much clearing up all the rumors on if potentially him and iDrop would be splitting up. What do I currently think about this duo right now? I still think they have super high potential, and like Vico said, literally at the beginning of the season, Vico looked like the best player in all of EU. He then went on his vacation, and since then it has been a little bit of a rocky and slow start so far, but I think things should be able to pick back up for him and iDrop. Hopefully they're able to qualify for everything next week and we can finally get to see the real potential of this duo. A couple of other big names though that were not able to make it, like 139th place of Pix and Yapko on 174, 146th place of Walks and Pixie. This duo has now missed back-to-back duo Div Cup finals and the EVAL Cup finals as well. It seems like a lot of people are saying that this is the beginning of the end for Walks and Pixie here. This duo still got 62 total elims in 7 total matches today, so they were one of the highest fragging teams in all of the opens, but were still not even able to finish top 100. They showed their fragging potential today really though, especially when we got to see them in like a 2v2 fight versus Swizzy and Vanya.
En gros, Zed, si tu veux savoir le nombre de points avant la game, tu regardes l'overlay. Le nombre de points sur l'overlay, là, il y a 121.
Ah oui, donc ils ont déjà eu des points de top en plus. Ah ouais, merde. Ouais. Donc, ouais, effectivement. 186, 100 kills, et si, comme tu dis, c'est 200, bah il leur faut, ouais, 14 kills. Donc,
ce sera un peu plus que 200, c'est pour ça.
So yeah, I don't know if the Pixie and Walks duo is just kind of waiting to see what happens after the finals this weekend, because you guys do know we pretty much have a snake season after every single finals, it feels like. I wouldn't be surprised at all if these guys both have brand new duos within these next couple of days though. Let's actually move on to how the finals went now. Now in the finals, the duo that continues to be on the top of the leaderboards, a lot of people said that these guys would struggle because of the Storm Surge changes and because they can't just stick to their high elim playstyle, but Chap and Flixie have won yet another tournament, winning 1 out of the 4 games today, which was the first game of the day where they got a 6 elim win, but they still finished with the most elims in this entire tournament with 33 total elims, because after that they got a 4 elim 6th, 8 elim 14th, and a 15 elim 10th, which was the highest elim game of the entire day. I think Chap and Flixie are still going to be just fine in any tournament that they are fully uncontested in. They are going to have tournament winning potential in that said tournament. They've proven it over the past couple of weeks now, and to me right now this is the best duo on all of EU. Second place was Specs and Gonzo, a little bit more of an underrated duo. They were able to win game number 2, getting an 8 elimination win. Third place was Belusi and Zangi. They won the last game of the day, getting a 5 elimination win. And then in 4th place is probably the second or the third best duo on all of EU, and that is Chino and Vino. They also though only had 1 good game in this tournament, and it was the 3rd game of the day where they got an 8 elimination win. This match history does kind of remind me of what we saw from them in the first Div Cup finals of the season. Still just not super consistent yet, and I don't know if it's because they are just starting to play with each other still, or if it's maybe a issue of concern in the future. We did see Vino tweet out though, cancel this eval, worst idea of all time, whoever pulls zone wins the game. And then literally his next tweet was God ours. So I mean, it seems like a lot of the pros so far are not necessarily the biggest fans of this new Storm Surge change. I'm very curious on what you guys think about it though in the comment section down below, after we have now seen multiple separate regions of a tournament with this change right here. 5th place was Dinas and Frantic, 6th place was Akira and Karama, 7th place was Eclipse and Twi, 8th place was Venya and Swizzy. They had 2 good games today, getting a 9 elim 4th and an 8 elim 9th. 2 pretty rough games as well though. I still do think this is a top 3 duo on the region either way. 9th place was Skyjump and Warx, and then rounding out the top 10 was Vidil and Rezon. They had 2 games in the top 10 with an 8 elim 6th and a 5 elim 10th. I do still have some pretty high confidence in this duo going into the future now, and I hope they're able to back up my confidence with a qual to the finals next week. For how our other big names did, we have like Darman Blaha in 11th. They got 2 second places in this tournament with a 7 elim second and a 6 elim second, so a real chance for this duo to win multiple games today. 12th place, a duo that did look super crazy today, was Shark and Teeny. They ended up beating Focus off spawn 3-1, and then their best games after that was a 4 elim second and a 5 elim third. They were also so close to winning multiple games. Like I have been saying though, the Shark and Teeny duo continues to just give me Teeny and Chat vibes from last year, and the more I watch them, the more I have to admit I kind of want these guys to stick together because their potential is just through the roof. We have Malibuka and Panzer in 26th place. This duo does continue to unfortunately be pretty underwhelming this season. Didn't get a single game inside of the top 15, even though they were fully uncontested. Drulex and Chicho in 31st, Sky and Marius in 33rd. These guys also not really too sure what has been going on with them in set lobby finals since they started playing together. They seem to be a very good opens team together already, but you can tell that that set lobby experience just isn't necessarily there for them together yet. Focus and Hriss in 36th, Hari and Cami in 39th, and Seti and Demas in 43rd. Let's actually move on to the final statistics now. Moving on to the final statistics here now, the highest damage ratio was Swizzy with a 2.15. He continues to look absolutely primed up. 1000% has to still be in that discussion for the best player on all of EU. Second place was Chicho. Third was Eclipse. The most damage to players is another person that I've seen get argued to be one of the best players on all of EU. And this season, to me, he has been the best fragger on all of EU. That is Chap. 4,632 damage. I feel like I literally just see him on the top of all of these damage leaderboards and these elim leaderboards as well, because he also finished with the most elims, getting 21 total elims. Second place was Karama, third was Swizzy, fourth was Dinas, fifth was Flixie, 6th was Frantic, 7th was Reason, 8th was TD, 9th was Twi, and then 10th was Skyjump. The most assists was Flixie, and then also Chap up there. And then here is all of the other statistics as well. Chap also leads in time alive, hits to players, and then Flixie leads in builds place. So I mean, the Flixie and Chap experiment seems like it is just firing on all cylinders right now. They really do look so good. Other than that though, remember, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. Make sure you guys DM me on my Twitter if you buy anything with code KDOG, because I have been responding to so many people that show me proof of it. YouTube says don't enjoy winning two videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Make sure you guys follow me on my Twitch, or come back here on the day of finals if you guys want to watch the duo set lobby finals with me. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.